Hello and good evening to another episode of the Swis Jon show. I hope that everybody's doing all right and that you people have had a wonderful weekend so far. For me, it's Sunday evening already. We had to shift the show to Sunday because Swiss was not available yesterday. And from the comment, I can see that Swiss is on his way home. So I'm trying to bridge the time until my partner in crime will be available. So from the chats, I can see Chili Badger, my favorite, most favorite troll. He's greeting from the front aisle at Sophisticats, Euston, London. Man, the view is well. I guess I know which kind of establishment this is. Won't go any further into that. Dodger is in the house. Good evening, Mr. Badger. Good evening, Mr. Dodger. I hope that Mrs. Dodger is doing well. Biruka says he's back home in 5 minutes. We have also Thomas Burnett here in the comments. Hello, good evening, Thomas. If anyone wants to join me, I'm posting the link in the comments. Yeah. Mrs. Higgins apparently is there. I can't see her on StreamYard, but I trust that she's here, so all good. So to fill the gap until Swiss is ready, I thought that I'm taking you a little bit into memory lane, and I've discovered something that I haven't seen for like 15 years. So I've discovered this particular watch. Oh, Tommy's here in the comments. Hello, Tommy. Good evening. So I found this in an old unused watch box. To my surprise, this is a Seiko watch, analog and digital, which was pretty groundbreaking back then. And I bought this watch maybe 25 years ago. It is in pretty decent shape. It's not perfectly mint, just like the other Seiko that I'm going to pull up. But it's still in very good shape. What you can see here, the bracelet has been polished because those middle parts, those middle elements used to be black. And like I said earlier, those black elements were just painted black back in the days. So this all rubbed off, and we removed the rest then when we brushed this particular bracelet. Yet, Chili Badger, this is a Seiko Anna Digital. That is an H558, also known as the Arnie watch. Arnold Schwarzenegger wore this reference in one of his movies. And this is a 1980s Seiko. Like I said, this was my second choice. So back then I was like 16, 17, and I was about to buy my first luxury watch. Of course, Rolex was unavailable for me or unobtainable in terms of pricing. Seiko had a big run. They were kind of luxury watches or premium watches back then, roughly a quarter of the price of a Rolex Submariner. That is all that I could afford. And this particular one was my second favorite. I'm going to show you my first favorite, which is that one. And at the end of the day, I bought this particular watch. That was the brand new Seiko quartz chronograph with an entire analog display. You may see similarities in terms of design language when you look at the logo, when you look at the layout, when you look at the bezel. It's very similar, and I had a tough choice to make between those two. For this particular watch, spoke that I liked the more sporty touch, and this watch was around 25% cheaper than this one. Being very tight on the money, that was a deciding factor. But in the end, I decided to put the money on top and buy this particular watch. That was, like I said, that was the first chronograph with total analog display. So every one of those little sub counters had its own motor. So all those hands can be adjusted and set individually. And when you reset them to zero, all these engines are then spinning the hands back to zero, which is quite interesting to see. So this one was the one that I finally chose. Reason was, to me, it was the perfect mixture between two of my favorite Rolex watches. First of all, I really like the manual Daytona. The automatic Daytona was not available back then, so it was a chronograph, and it was also a hybrid with a diver's watch with a diver's bezel. So it was the best of both worlds. Hello, good evening, Swis.
Hello, hello. Can you hear me good?
Your microphone is a little bit weak. Can you tweak it a little bit higher, or should I do
Give
it?
me 1 second. Get me 1 second.
Okay. So just let me finish that
Yep.
long, boring story. So finally, I bought this watch. I totally loved it. It guided me for like 1.5 years. I had a rough time. I had some health issues, and the watch was guiding me through that. And after 1.5 years, I started my job at the AD, and of course, my first line of action was then to buy my first Rolex. And to partially finance that first Rolex, I had to sell my Seiko watch, which was tough, but also easy because I've always dreamt about a Rolex watch. Many years later, I felt the need to get this particular watch back. It was not easy because back then we didn't have Chrono 24, we didn't have eBay, we barely had internet, if I remember correctly. And I placed a search ad in a watch magazine, Uhrenmagazin, a normal magazine, and I had to supply a picture, traditional picture, and I placed a search ad. And many weeks later, somebody called me, and he told me that he had a tremendous collection of unworn Seiko chronographs, and he had this particular watch. And just to give you a background, back then I paid 625 German marks. My GMT master was 2,700 back then. And 10 years later, I was prepared to pay over 1,000 German marks to get this Seiko back. So in the end, I asked him how much he was asking for this particular watch, and he told me 160. And before that, he told me that he had a brand new one. It still has stickers, never been worn, totally perfect condition. And of course, I said yes. And ever since I own this particular watch, I have removed the battery to prevent leaking and the watch being destroyed. But that was basically the beginning of my watch journey of expensive watches. Apologies for the long talk. How are you doing, Switzerland?
I'm doing good. Is it a bit better?
Yeah,
Yeah.
better. Should I still try to tweak you up a little bit?
Oh, I can do more if you
Yeah, do
need.
a little bit more.
Okay. That's better. 1 2 1 2.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah. So I have a question about this Seiko.
Okay. Just a
Um,
second. I pull it up again. Okay. Hit me with your question.
so isn't this Seiko basically a Porsche design knockoff?
I would say no.
Because I mean the case and bracelet is very reminiscent of. What do you think?
I agree that the case with the sloped lugs, which are not really lugs, they are kind of caps, are reminiscent of the Seiko. I give you that. But the Seiko or the Porsche design doesn't have a rotating bezel, for example.
So yeah, what's with the rotating bezel? Is this dive? dive oriented, or?
Well, it's a sports 100, so it was water resistant until 100 meter, unless you push the buttons. So it was water resistant, and I used it in water. I was swimming with it, and it never let me down.
Right. Okay. That's cool. That's good.
But I understand what you mean. Those slope ends at the case are really similar to the Porsche design watch. I give you that. Yeah.
That's a cool watch. Was it a limited run, or it was
No. That was a
main?
brand new caliber. I tried to explain it earlier. Maybe you haven't heard it. So at that time, Seiko was moving from digital watches to analog displays because Casio and all the cheaper brands took over the LCD digital displays, and there was no money to be made with digital displays. So what Seiko did, they were regarded to be premium watches back then, because the watch market was not that diversified, just like it was today. Keep in mind, this was a quarter of a Rolex watch. So I paid for this one 625 Deutsche Marks, and after 1.5 years, I paid 2,700 for my Rolex GMT Master, and I could have gotten a Submariner with a plastic crystal for around 2,000. So those were not cheap watches back then in comparison. So the brand new thing was that all those hands from the chronograph have been driven by little engines. So you have the engine for the running second, just like a normal quartz watch, but also those sub counters are driven by little engines, and you see here that 1/10 of a second counter, so that revs once every second. So that is running like crazy when it's activated.
Okay, yeah, I see.
And the funny, the interesting thing is, after 5 minutes or 10 minutes, this stops spinning because it drains the battery. But if you stop the chronograph, then this little hand moves where it belongs.
Yeah.
And that was breaking news, or that was breaking technology. Nobody else had this. Everybody had analog three-hander watches, but nobody had an analog quartz chronograph back then. So this one was the first model.
All right.
Okay, so how has your week been so far?
Oh, it's been good. I just came back from the mountain.
Ooh, have you been
hence
climbing?
why I have been a bit late.
Have
yeah,
you
it's
been
been good.
hiking or climbing?
Yeah, both actually, both. More hiking, a bit of climbing, but it was mostly gray sky with a bit of precipitation, so it was okay.
Yeah,
Could
so
have
Thomas
been better.
Burnett is right. That particular Seiko is a 7828 reference. So, do you have some time and some mood to join us tonight?
Yeah, I have about a bit more than an hour.
Okay, that's good to hear. So, I had some fights, like always, because I love to picking a fight. I had a fight with a Patek Philippe fanboy, the worst that I know. I'm not gonna name names. And we had a discussion because this guy, who is a delusional fantasist, refuses to accept that the normal Patek movements have only a very, very standard level of finishing, and the high horology finishing happens, in my opinion, and in the opinion of many other aficionados, above $100,000. So now we're having a long discussion about screw heads, just like those nerdy discussions go. And his claim is he has a 5212 Patek Philippe. Maybe we'll pull.
Yeah, the weekly calendar.
The comic watch, yes.
Yeah.
One second, I'll pull that up. 5212. So he has this particular watch, and he says, "Oh, I can't see any machine finishing. All this rubbish about mediocre finishing is just not true, and people should have this watch in real life, and the finishing on my watch is top notch. So this is high horology." And you know how those discussions with those Patek Philippe fanboys go.
Yeah.
So then he claims now that the screws on his movement, which are flat screw heads, and his claim is that those are black polished. What do you think about that?
I mean, it could be. I think we should. It means that we have to go back to our discussion of how do we even define black polishing.
Exactly, that is a very good point.
Yes,
because in my opinion, particularly our friends from Northern America use the term black polishing very liberally.
okay.
One of my pet peeves, for example, when I'm listening to Tim Mosso, he mentions so often things being black polished, which is simply not correct. It's not true. Those manufacturers don't point out black polishing. They say mirror polishing, and I even took a Hodinkee article up where they equalize mirror polishing with black polishing. Can you believe that?
Do you have this article? So
I'm
in this article, they say it's.
Yeah, 1 second. I'll pull that up because
Yeah, okay.
this awful Patek fanboy just sent me a link. Horrible people, I tell you.
The worst part is that he is as nerdy as you are.
No. He has no clue actually. So that is the problem. That is the problem. And he's a nasty fiker as well. So okay, now I have opened many windows and I don't find the window where we are. So give me 1 second.
Yeah, no problem.
I'm gonna be there. You know, I'm very slow with those kind of things.
No problem. Take your time. It's your show. You can do whatever you want.
No, it's our show. It's our show. Yeah. So 1 second. Damn it! Where is it? I made a screenshot. Now the screenshot disappeared. Okay, I have to pull it up again.
No problems. Meanwhile, I will say hello to the people in the chat. Hello to Thomas Burnett. Good to see you. Whole Milk, Chili Badger. I also saw Dodger. Good to see you guys.
It's not good to see Chili Badger.
No, he's a spicy guy. That's why.
He's one of my worst trolls, actually.
Okay. Hey, we have Daniel. Black polish.
Yeah. Hodinkee Watch 101. Black polish. A flat workpiece that has been polished to a mirror finish is said to be black polished. What do you say about that?
I mean, there it is. Black polish means mirror polish.
Utter crap. This is utter crap, Swis. How do I know that? I'm not a watchmaker, but I had a very long discussion with Anthony De Haas from Lange Watches.
Yeah.
You know that I was complaining about some details on this Lange-Matic movement, and
yes.
we had a very fun discussion, and I asked him, why can't you black polish this particular part? Because he said this is mirror polished and there are slight scratches in the mirror polish, so this is not avoidable. And I told him, so may I ask you, why don't you black polish this particular part? Because it's significant. 1 second. Now that I'm talking about it, I must pull it up.
Yeah, let's pull the movement up.
Yeah, 1 second. Lange-Matic movement. So I asked him, why don't you black polish that? And his reply was, look, we can't afford to do that. First of all, we don't have the watchmakers to do that. 1 second. No, here it is. Okay, that is the famous Langematik movement. And I had a discussion with Anthony De Haas about my Langematik movement. And I can't make it bigger. So maybe you see this toothed wheel here,
Yes.
which is like a mirror. But you can see here some slit marks, some scratch marks
Yes.
that are circular. And that was the topic of our discussion. And I asked him, why do you perfectly polish this thing and then get scratch marks? What he said is, you can see here a little groove in that bridge that limits the play of this particular wheel in a horizontal way. Does that make sense? There is a little groove, but I can't enlarge it any further. There is a little groove. And
I think I see what you mean.
yeah,
Okay.
and that groove touches that little
So it
wheel.
keeps it in place, basically.
Yes, but it makes scratch marks. And I told him, you're going such a high level of finishing. This is not acceptable. And he said, we can't.
You said to him, your movement is not acceptable.
Well, I told him, this is such a beautiful movement, and you're going lengths and crazy ways.
Who's the nasty fiker now?
Yeah. No, but it was a pleasant discussion, actually.
Yeah, I'm joking. Don't worry.
And while we had that discussion, I asked him, so why are you only mirror polishing this? It would be nice if you black polished that. And his reply was, look, you have no idea how complicated black polishing is. First of all, we don't have the people. Secondly, it takes such a long time to black polish an element. You have no idea. And we simply don't have the time and the people to black polish those parts. That was his reply. So I have an idea that black polishing this part will take over an hour, probably a couple of hours. And being the nasty fiker that I am, I just placed another request with my friends of Lange, because I saw this part here on my Langematik movement. And this is very nicely polished.
Yes.
And I had the hope that Lange would reply to me, look, we do one black polished part on our movement, and that is this cover cap. And I placed a request. I sent them pictures, because you can see this polished part virtually on every single Lange movement. And I asked, can you please tell me what kind of finishing this little part has? And the reply was, it's not black polished, it's mirror polished. So that is just the background why I'm so persistent and insisting that black polishing doesn't equal to mirror polishing, because I had those discussions with the people who should know that black polishing is a totally different process and very time consuming.
I'm trying to find more source of black polishing articles.
It's very difficult, because this Patek Philippe fanboy, he sent me even from the Fédération of Watchmakers an article which says basically the same, just like the Hodinkee article, that black polishing equals to mirror polishing. But this is utter rubbish.
So Monochrome has an article, also with a lot of jargon and trying to explain all of them. They say under black polishing, a variation on traditional. I can give you the link.
In the private chat, or?
Yeah, I'm putting it. There it is.
Okay.
And it is quite ambiguous. Oh my gosh, you're not going to be happy. Okay.
Black polishing.
Right. Okay. So they say a variation on traditional polishing where a steel component is polished to a perfectly even mirror-like finish. When done right, the component looks deep black from a certain angle, explaining the term. So what does the made when done right really means? This is still a rather ambiguous explanation. I would, yeah.
Well, they mentioned mirror-like polish, but of course, black polishing looks like a mirror. It's even finer than the mirror polish. But I understand where you're going to. But I'm stubborn enough to make the claim, and I'm going to research the heck out of it. Tomorrow, I'm going to call the watchmaker school here in Hamburg and ask them about black polishing, because you remember we had those. That little video that is on YouTube, where this guy is polishing this little metal part on this zinc plate with this kind of paste and everything like that. As far as I know, black polishing, by the way, only happens with steel components, and that is another point. I think those screws are not steel; those screws are brass. Last comment on black polishing. I think I told you that I have that beautiful Micro Artist Studios Grand Seiko, and I've been in touch with the very knowledgeable Joe Kirk from Grand Seiko in the US, who does all the trainings. He visited Seiko very often. He's a Grand Seiko ambassador for many years. And I reached out to him because I wanted to know more about the Micro Artist treatment of those movements. And he told me those blued screws are black polished. And you know, the arrogant fuck that I am, I replied to his email and I told him, please excuse me for being the know-it-all German. I think I used that term. Those screw heads are domed, so those are not flat. And as far as I know, the process of black polishing is happening on a flat zinc plate. So how can a domed screw head be black polished? Was it a good question or not?
Well, yeah, it makes sense. It does make sense. Maybe.
So his reply was kind of backpedaling then. So then he only talked about mirror polishing. So basically he took it back that those screw heads are black polished.
Okay.
So I have many indicators that you know I'm super stubborn and I enjoy being right all the time. I know that. But I have very good information and very good indicators that I'm totally right on that, and that the entire internet is totally wrong about that.
I have one last link, if you can pull it up.
Yep.
So this is a company who does micro machining, and they have they have a page where they briefly explain black polishing.
Okay, let me pull that up, and maybe we can post the link in the comments because it's written so tiny that it may be difficult to read that. One second, comments. I'll just put that here in the comments. Okay, so Lauener is writing about black polishing. Do you want to read that?
Yeah, they say, so under black polishing, we have a workshop entirely devoted to black polishing, in parentheses, also called mirror polishing or flat polishing.
Fuck you!
This operation produces a very high shine which reflects the light on the surface of the parts like a mirror. This rare know-how requires great dexterity, meticulous detail, blah, 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 blah. So when it comes to these guys, black polishing is mirror polishing.
Okay.
Yet, I tend to agree with you that there should be something more. I'm not convinced yet. I still want to do much more research over this subject.
Yeah, we're running short of time because I think we have two more interesting topics. There is a very interesting video from Patek Philippe where they mass polish kind of screw heads but they mentioned a leather disc that they're using, and I will pull that video up on the next show.
Okay, let's do that. Shall we go to the next topic?
Yes, please. The next topic and the headliner.
This guy. Wait, I also have it. Yeah, the Chapek Antarctic P04 Lanikai X Collective Horology. Turquoise colors and texture, Hawaiian weathers. Yeah, so it is a collab.
Yeah, it is. Do you know what Lanikai is?
I have no idea what Lanikai is.
Lanikai is a beach on Hawaii, a very beautiful beach. All beaches on Hawaii are public, but that is a kind of hidden beach where you have to find a corridor between houses. And so it's a secret tip, which is circling on the internet. 1 second, let me try to find a nice image of Lanikai.
Yeah, this looks lovely.
Well, most of the beaches on Hawaii are looking lovely, I can tell you that. 1 second, let me take that picture, probably.
Yeah, whole milk is putting even more pressure on you. SJX saying that black polishing, also called mirror polishing.
I will research the heck out of that, because this is simply not true. This is bullshit. And this wouldn't be the first time that we are seeing this kind of bullshit. The problem is with the Lanikai beach that I have here. It's TripAdvisor, and I can't enlarge that. But you get an idea how the colors look like here on Lanikai Beach.
Yeah.
Okay, so we cleared the name. Lanikai is a beach on the Hawaiian island of Oahu, and it's very beautiful. The sun is playing with clear water, and it's absolutely beautiful.
Yes.
Sorry, I did interrupt you.
No, it's perfect. It's perfect. You know what? I love this dial. Absolutely. I think it's beautiful. I don't know if it pairs really nicely with this watch case and the bracelet. Because you have this dial, which is like so inspired of nature, you know, those big, it's flowy. You have the ripples, and the case and the bracelet are so blocky.
Yeah, and edgy, yes.
And edgy, it's a very, very big contrast. As a design point, I don't know what you think of it. I think it's too much of a contrast, in my opinion.
Okay. So I'll give you that the Antarctic is probably not the best watch for this particular dial. Let's keep in mind that the Antarctic has a quick release system, and all the Antarctic are coming in a big box with a lot of tools, with a lot of spare parts, spare links, and everything like that. And also with 1 or 2 complementary rubber straps. And I think this watch chosen with the correct rubber strap would look much better than with the metal bracelet.
Now that you mentioned this, because they already made a previous limited edition. They had the Orion, and I don't remember how was named the other one. But it came on yes, the Teradeli. It came on a beautiful leather strap, actually. I think I would have preferred it on a leather strap.
Unfortunately, there are no pictures of the additional straps that you get with this particular watch, because this is a brand new release so far. But I'm pretty sure there will be a rubber strap or a leather strap added, and I think this makes this particular watch a winner.
Yeah. But I mean, as I said, I love the dial. It looks really nice.
What I love about that dial are the little bubble holes here, just
Yes.
like
Yeah, that's really well
like
done.
this. And did you know that this is an enamel dial?
Yeah. I know that. You know what? With the crystal on the top of it, you see on the edges, it looks like if you're looking through water. If you see what I mean.
What do you mean?
The crystal,
Yeah.
right? You can see the slight deformation on the
You mean
edges.
here?
Yeah.
Okay.
And this to me, it reminds me when you look through water, like when you're
Yeah.
on the beach.
Yeah.
I think this is super nice.
I totally agree with you. And you know, when we were talking about the world timer, Ben mentioned that you're using those watches to daydream about destinations, about holidays, about beautiful places that you've visited or you want to visit. And I think this dial just transports you to a beautiful beach and to a nice summer holiday. And I totally love that concept. In my
Yeah.
opinion, this is the nicest limited edition they made so far, and it doesn't have a date. Did you recognize that? Usually they have the date on
Yeah,
it.
that's really good. Really more no dates.
Yeah. So that is a very nice touch. I think they went really very far to make this a beautiful watch. Now I heard some criticism from people who complain that Chapek is riding on the Tiffany blue wave, and I understand. By the way, those are pictures here from Lanikai, which are really nice.
Hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I did not think Tiffany blue when I saw this first.
Yeah, and they made some experiments with different colors with this structure. And I must say, those two colors, for example, don't convince me at all. Usually, I'm not a fan of those turquoise tones. I'm more a fan of bluish tones. But
Yeah,
I can't imagine those two colors being better than the colors that they chose.
exactly. Yeah.
You can see they even experimented with different degrees of those ripples.
Yeah, I think they did a very good job. Like very good.
Yeah,
This looks so good. Come on, look at
yeah,
this.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm totally in love. The watch sold out within a day. And breaking news: our friend Russ has a confirmed order.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I have a question for you. Would it be even better if it was a Bora Bora edition?
You know, I've been on Bora Bora, and Bora Bora is so famous for those different shades of blue in the water, and you can
Hmm.
easily find this shade of blue in the waters on Bora Bora. So you can name it Bora Bora or Lani Kai. I think Lani Kai is a beautiful name, by the way. Hawaiian language has beautiful words, very romantic, soft words, and I have no problems with the name Lanikai. If they would have called it Bora Bora, more power to them, and I would have been happy as well. I'm a little bit unhappy that I couldn't afford to order one right on the spot. Um, Russ ordered it, and he said, "Oh, I only have one day to decide to do the order." And I told him, "Stop moaning. Uh, this watch is 1,500 US dollars more than the traditional Antarctique. So they're charging $1,500 more for that beautiful dial for a limited edition of 50." And I told
Mm.
him, no matter what, if you like it or not, if you don't like it, you can sell it for way more than you're paying at the moment. And I gave him the offer, if you really don't like it, if you don't want to sell it, if I have my Antarctique with the blue dial, let's do a swap. I will
Yeah.
swap my Antarctique in a second.
Yeah, me too.
So I guess, yeah, I guess he stops.
Non-existent Antarctic.
Yeah, he stops complaining now. What is very nice is very obviously this particular watch has already the upgraded bracelet. Not sure if you heard the discussion about the Chapek bracelet having 2 weak points. So the first weak point is here, where the metal bracelet merges the case. And I've seen some Antarctiques that have been worn, and it's a little bit wiggly. It has a kind of horizontal play.
Okay.
And from what I'm hearing is Chapek now updated those pin bars that are in between, and also tightened the mechanism. Also now the bracelet links are connected with proper screws and not with the sleeve pins. So they worked on that. Another criticism was that there is no micro adjustment on the buckle,
Exactly.
and they fixed that now. And from here you can see this is the upgraded buckle already.
Yeah.
And I'm also hearing all Chapek Antarctiques that are currently delivered already have the new bracelet system and the new micro adjustment clasp.
That is very good.
Okay.
That is very good. You know, Chapek, they are making good moves lately. Very good. Very good moves. Remember, like 1 or 2 years ago, nobody knew what the fuck Chapek was doing.
Do you remember when we discovered Chapek?
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
You remember when Tim was at that New York watch show and he interviewed
Yes.
the CEO?
Oh yeah.
And he won us over in 10 minutes.
He convinced you with his speech about how the Chapek started with Patek.
You know, I don't think that I'm alone. I think he convinced you as well. So don't put the blame on me. I think I remember that we both said, "What a cool guy," and it was totally convincing because I think the first sentence that he put out was, "We have nothing to do with his old Chapek. We have nothing to do with the Patek and Chapek. Nothing." I think that was his first reply.
Yeah, honesty.
Oh, excuse me.
We love an honest man.
Yes.
By the way, is this what you call it, rendering?
I'm not sure if this is a rendering or if that's a true movement.
Because do you see how those 4 screws, they align perfectly?
Mm-hmm.
That's nice.
You mean
small
those
detail, but I love it.
Screws here?
No, the big ones from the case back.
Ah, yeah, okay. Actually, yeah, I'm not a big fan of this alignment because I'm of the opinion they should tighten them until they are tight and not until they look good.
Yeah, maybe they are tight.
Hopefully, yes.
Hopefully, yes.
Hopefully, yes. But yeah, so I'm not sure if it's a rendering or not. I just wanted to emphasize this beautiful movement that I think you and I
so beautiful. Yeah.
love. The
I mean, for 20K, a bit more. That's so nice.
Yeah. And what I really like is I think this is black polish, by the way. Not sure, but those internal angle 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 internal angle on this particular part.
And for those who are not convinced by the price of this watch and you think it's too much, just take a AP that costs more, open the case back, and come back.
Come back later.
Come back later, and let's see what you're gonna have to say then, because this is a step above what AP does, in my opinion.
Yeah. Also, what Patek does. Come on, let's give that fanboy, that Patek Philippe fanboy that I'm fighting about black polish screws, another one. And I can tell you, you have seen an Antarctique. I think when you see it in real life, this movement looks even better.
Yeah, it looks amazing. Really, really good. The whole watch, by the way, the whole watch looks super nice.
Yeah. So we have Bufaris here in the house. Hello, good evening, Bufaris. Good to see you.
Hello, hello.
Okay, so I think we discussed that Chapek
Yeah.
Lanikai long enough. What do you think?
Yeah. I'm fine with that.
Okay, so let's move on to the next heavy hitter. Where's the next heavy hitter? You know, I'm following those watch publications for quite some time, and the media buzz that this particular watch created was really big.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, the first time I've seen that, I think I was packing suitcases for my trip that I had 1.5 weeks ago. And I thought, why is everybody raving about this particular watch? So I didn't get it. And then on holidays, I bothered to read that because I've been seeing all those publications over and over and on and on. And I just discovered how beautiful and special this particular watch is. What is your opinion?
It is. I think this this watch really shines on his on its very particular finishing. I mean, this is almost like a Krivia level of finishing. It's absolutely crazy. Even when you go on the case back and you look at the wheels that all have uniquely shaped teeth.
Yeah, you're taking away the suspense. Let's build that up a little bit.
Okay,
So
let's build it up.
So
about the man itself.
Yeah, the man himself is Simon Brett. Did I spell that correctly?
Simon Brett. Yeah.
Have you met him? Did you meet him?
No, never.
Okay, so he's 32 years old. As far as I know, he's not a watchmaker. Or is he?
I think no. He started. Wait, I saw it just before.
I think he's an engineer, isn't he?
Yeah, he was a technical constructor at with Chronode, I think first. Then he went to MBNF as a project manager.
Exactly. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So he's not like a technical watchmaker.
So he's not a Recepi or Philippe Dufour.
No.
But he was a project manager for Max Büsser, which says a lot, I would say. You know, when you're 32 years old and you've been project manager for 2 projects from Max Büsser, I mean, you have to know and know something.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
So I think that is a good credibility that he has with his story. And
he has a very strong background. Yeah, very strong.
Yeah, and now he decided to make his own watch and start his own brand. And he's saying that Max Büsser was very supportive with his plans. And so here we go. And by the way, I prefer to call Simon Brett or this collaboration a little bit like Simon Brett and Friends. So it's a little bit like the Max Büsser and Friends concept.
Yeah. So is that the name of the watch, the Chronomètre Artisan?
Yes, that is the name of the watch, Chronomètre Artisan. What he presented, I think he presented that one week after Watches and Wonder, just in a small room or something like that, and all the watch journalists were just going crazy. And he says he's making 12 of those watches per year. As far as I know, he only had one prototype with a titanium case. And he's going to do now a normal run with a zircon case. Zircon.
Okay. Zirconium, yeah.
I have no idea how the merits of zircon are. Here it says titanium grade 5. This is a prototype. which is also saying here on the movement.
Yeah.
So the first run of 12 watches will be titanium, and I'm pretty sure he will experiment then with other case material at a later point of time.
That would be super fun. This is something you don't see too much. Only the the independents, they play with different materials like that, and yeah, it's really good.
Yeah.
I love
OC
it.
is here in the comments. I would pull that up. OC always good for a conspiracy theory. The publicity surrounding the launch of the Simon Brett watch was an extremely well coordinated, a little fishy. I would say all the watch journalists have been invited to a room, and the watch has been presented, and so there were no. How do you say that when there is press material released and
Embargo.
embargo on it? I think it worked differently with Simon Brett, and so everybody saw those watches, and I haven't seen one of the important journalists who wasn't taken away by this particular watch.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say, if you really think that there is a coordinated attack, disinformation attack, think again. This guy is making 12 watches per year. Do you really think that he has the budget to smear the journalists or to do something behind those lines? And by the way, I think that the watch is too cheap.
So this watch, this watch right there, yeah, it's. I think the estimation. So do we have an exact price, or it's an estimation?
50,000 Swiss francs.
Yeah, so it is an estimation. It's an estimation, or it's a real price.
I think that's a real price.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. That is an awesome price.
Yeah, Monochrom published the price 50,000 Swiss francs. 1 second. It's not an estimation. Availability and price. Oh, they say about 50,000. Okay.
About.
I have to. They were priced at 50,000 francs before taxes.
Yeah, I mean, you want a Voutilainen, it's 80,000 time only. So
you want a Recepi, you're paying 130,000.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think given the quality of the watch, I think that's fine. I think that's good.
Yep, I think this is an $80,000, $100,000 watch.
Yeah. No, that is awesome. I love it.
Okay, so
I love. Yeah. Please.
What do you love?
Everything, but if you have something to say, please.
What caught my attention when I was reading the article for the second time are the screws. We talked about black polished screws just earlier.
Yeah.
What really caught my attention are the screws, and in that Monochrom article, he's talking about the screw heads. Did you read that?
I'm not sure I remember about this. So what do they say about the screws?
So traditionally, screw heads are either plain or slightly domed.
Yeah.
Domed up. And his guy managed to make concave screw
Oh, they are recessed? Okay.
Yes. They're like little bowls. And he managed to mirror polish those concave screw heads.
Yeah. And this is why they give those. Yeah, it's a very striking visual.
And I've never seen that before on any watch. And just have a look at the amount of those. Actually, he says his friend takes 1 hour to polish those concave screw heads alone. So each single screw head takes an hour or more.
John, there is a photo afterwards where you can really see them more. Yeah, this one just before.
Oh, that one.
Yeah, if you zoom a bit on the screw, you can see how they are shaped.
The big one, you mean.
Yeah, like oh, this is awesome. This is super nice.
Once I saw those concave screw heads, he won me over.
Oh, you know what won me? It's the those barrels. Look at those barrels.
Well, those barrels are also
Yeah,
concave
it's
shaped
so
out.
good.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah,
And
it is.
but this is not enough. Can you see that chaton? That is also not plain. That is
Yeah,
also
it's
this bowl
also
shape.
concave.
Yep. And he's using, for example, on this screw, he's using a chaton below the screw. 1 second. Here, he's using chatons below the screws. 1, 2, 3,
Yeah,
4.
I can see it. Yeah.
Come on, that is insane.
Yeah, this is some next level shit. That is
So,
amazing.
so you were talking about this. He's calling that wolf teeth.
Yeah.
Those,
So I read a bit about those,
Mhm.
and what really I think is really intriguing. They say, well, it has a unique visual, but also a unique audio click
Yep.
and tactile feeling. So
Yep.
they feel different, they sound different. You know, when you wind the watch. I
Mhm.
am very, very, very curious about how it would feel, how it would click.
Do
I
you know
really
what?
want to see this.
Do you know what generates that audio click? This
Yes, this.
springy
Yeah.
thingy inside of that wheel. So basically,
Yeah.
when you wind it, one direction you wind it, the second or the other direction it's free run, and this spring is responsible for the clicking noise.
Hmm. That is beautiful. I love it.
So everything is crazy about this watch, and we
Yeah.
haven't talked about the internal
Yeah.
angles here. Have a look here.
Yeah. So this is well, like a 3/4 plate
Yep.
display. Look at the balance.
Yep.
Balance, huge balance. Look at the bridge.
Yep.
The bridge is amazing. Wow.
I think that's a titanium bridge, if I know that correctly. And this is mirror polished, by the way, and not black polished.
That's beautiful. I love
I
it.
think that's a super amazing watch from the movement perspective. Now let's move to the dial, because I think that the dial also has some true features. I knew that I'm gonna screw that up. So first of all, on that lever here, which is responsible for the setting mechanism,
Hmm.
he also put an internal anchor here just to show off. What I really like is that second hand, and I prepared a file. Hope that this is gonna work. Of course, it's not working because he made some beautiful pictures of the components on Instagram. 1 second, I have to find the shit. I have to find the picture. Where's the hand? Come on.
You lost the hand?
Yeah, I lost the hand. The picture of the hand. Where's the Viking hand? I can't believe it. 1 second. No, I didn't use the hand, so I have to do that again. Please continue talking. I will. I will find the hand.
Yes. So, since we are talking about the hands,
Mhm.
I really love what he did for the hour hand. So it has like this two-tone kind of thing going. So it has been blued, but then he still polished the top part of the hour hand, which I think it looks so good. You can see this sharp angle on the top of it.
Mhm.
On the yeah, this looks beautiful. I saw only one other guy who does this kind of uh two-tone finishing with bluing, and it is I don't know if you know him. He's called Bexay.
Yep.
independent guy. I think he's from Romania or Hungary. I don't remember. Crazy guy. He does some crazy good looking watches, and I really enjoy this hour hand. This looks sick. This looks amazing.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. There is internal anglage here on that hour hand, and to brag even more, he made an internal angle here on the hour hand on the tip. So that is just insane. You know that I'm not a big fan of those grandfather loop shaped hour hands, but here I make an exception and I totally love it. One second. What he also did, what I'm hearing is when this hour hand is covering that second hand display, that hole aligns perfectly with with the center pivot of the second hand.
Yeah.
So when that moves over, that is perfectly centered above this pivot.
Yeah. And this, people, is what you call good design. And I love good design. So to me, the big thing right there is the dial, actually.
Hey, watch Nicholas. Yeah.
So it isn't tremblage. It is.
No.
It seems that it has been forged that way. So you know what? It reminds me of those old Lange rotor. You see what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They had
Yeah.
this kind of
Those little particles. Yes, I know what
yeah.
you mean. Yeah. So if you really zoom in, monochrome is talking about a mosaic pattern. From what I know, this is an engraving process. I don't know how they are doing it. He has a female engraver who does that, and he challenged her, and she delivered. This is something that I've never seen. It looks super nice and super hard to make. And I hope that the future editions of this particular watch also have this kind of dial. I really hope that he doesn't change this pattern with future releases.
If this is made by hand, you mean someone is really engraving this by hand?
That is what I gather from the articles that I read.
It would take a week to make one dial.
Yeah.
Damn.
Just have a look at the center of those. It is the center of the minute hand that is also bowl shaped.
Yeah.
You see that?
Yeah.
So this is an insane level of finishing, and no matter what OC says, oh, he's an attractive guy, and this is a coordinated attack. Doesn't matter how this worked, but the watch alone is just mind blowing. And I think this is super significant. I don't care how this happened. I just love the watch like it is.
Look right there. You can see how the finishing is also perfect on the wheels. Actually,
yep.
The wheels are perfect with perfect anglage, perfect polishing. Everything looks super neat. No discrepancies. Everything is beautiful. Rounded anglage, not simple anglage. Rounded anglage. Yeah. The annoying anglage.
Simon Brett put some elements of his watch on Instagram, and those pictures are just lovely. And the anglage, the internal angles, everything is just beautiful. So you approve with this watch?
Yeah, 100%. 100% approved.
Okay. So just before the show started, I had a conversation with Benjamin Chi. I think he replied he can't join tonight. Benjamin Chi will have some new watches, so he will very soon present something, and he will be on the Swis Jon show. I can promise that. So I've been talking with Ben about the Simon Brett watch, and I told him I reached out to Simon Brett. because I wanted to be on the list for this watch.
I hope you do.
He didn't reply.
But wait, if you're on the list, how do you get the money?
That is a different question. I'm hearing that Simon Brett is sold out until 2027. So that is a long time. So I hope that I'm going to be part maybe of the 3rd or 4th edition. I have the feeling if you're not ordering now, this will not happen at all. So so I told Ben, he didn't reply. And Ben just replied, I can ask a friend if you need. He's in contact with him. So I told him that would be great. Thanks.
Do it. Yeah, do it.
And then Ben asked me, should I say you want to invite him on your show?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, hell yes.
Yes.
So
then we can be in with the conspiracy theory of OC, and we have been corrupted by the big watch companies. Yes.
Totally. Yeah, totally. So, but that would be amazing, totally. And I hope that this is going to happen. And I really want to ask him about the engraving process of the dial. Now here comes the negative, and I think we mentioned it before. Simon Brett is not Kari Voutilainen or Recep Recepi. And he's very open about that. He says he has kind of 15 suppliers who do the finishing on his watches.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not Simon Brett who does that watch from A to Z. But he's certainly skilled in his project management. He knows the right people, I would say, from the prototype. And I don't see that as a super negative, but maybe it is a factor that puts the price into perspective compared to Recep Recepi or Kari Voutilainen or Philippe Dufour.
I personally don't care as long as the watch is of good quality.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's better when a specialist is doing a certain thing than an all-rounder, a very good all-rounder does it. But that is all up to the collector who is purchasing those watches. Doesn't matter to me. In my opinion, this watch is a steal. It is underpriced, and yeah. Yes.
Maybe in 2030.
Probably yes, if I make it so far. So we will see what happens. But yes, I hope that that I'll get a reply. So the next target is now to have him on the show.
Perfect. Ah, all right. I think we said that everything that had to be said.
I think
Hello,
so too, yes.
Speedy. Good to see you, Speedy.
We have Speedy Hernandez here in the panel. Not sure if I have if I missed some questions in the audience. So Watches63 says apparently the Rolex jigsaw dials are all being made by the same lady. For sure, they are enamel dials, and it would make sense if they're in one hand, and that would explain that they will be pretty rare.
Yeah, still ugly though.
You find it ugly?
I think it's super ugly.
I have no problems with the jigsaw. I find those date wheels and the day of the week wheels a little bit dodgy.
Yeah, and the emojis.
Yeah. Wouldn't it be funny if there would be an emoji, fuck me dead?
Fuck me. Yeah, it's a middle finger. Like.
Okay, Holemaker's asking, have you seen the leaked Chaikin with Louis Erard watch out on Tuesday?
I haven't.
You see that?
No,
me neither. But from one of the last shows, you should know I'm a big fan of what Louis Erard does with those skillful dials. So I'm looking forward to what they're doing. Do we have another
There's
comment that we should address?
Nothing on internet. No, I think I'm good. I think we had a good show.
I think so too, and we've not been talking for 2 hours, which is also good, because the concept of the show actually was to limit ourselves to 1 hour.
Absolutely.
So that's quite fun. Swis, thank you very much for joining me.
Yep.
It
was good.
I think it was a good conversation.
We shall continue on the saga of the black polishing.
Yes, exactly. If you know someone, maybe you have your contacts with H. Moser, who certainly are able to give a qualified reply on this. Please feel free.
I will try to reach out to someone.
That would be fantastic. So maybe next week or in 2 weeks, we will have an answer on that. So I posted the link for the after show. I will not be too long in the after show because I have to wake up very early tomorrow morning. But if somebody wants to chat behind the lines with us, I posted the link. Thank you very much for joining, Swis. Do you have any closing words?
Thank you, everyone. I hope you enjoyed, and see you next time.
Sounds good. Bye-bye. I'm playing the trailer.
Bye.